Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to do another video blog, another topic I want to talk about, and this is a topic that I've already gone through a little bit in my other videos, but I want to specifically focus on this topic for today. And the reason is because there's been several incidents that's happened recently that brought this topic up, and that is the issue of having guns in the United States. The issue of gun control and the issue of banning guns, and the reason why this is important is because some people may have heard, maybe you might have heard on the news that a few days ago in Orlando, about 50 people were killed at a gay club, and the murderer was a guy who had like semi-automatic, I think it was a AK-15, and he went into the club and he just shot up a whole bunch of people. And the guy was a Muslim, but that's not really important, right? I don't think that it was related to his religion. Apparently, it was a hate crime against gay people, and people are just too quick to judge on the religion and stuff. The point is that Muslims, yeah, some Muslims are crazy and they go and kill people, but not. It's just like it's just because that person was crazy. You know, there's people with mental conditions. It's not the fact that they're a Muslim. You know, people think that it's because of religion, but it's not because of religion at all. It's really because they're just crazy. And there's been lots of examples of white people killing, you know, doing the mass murders as well. And I'm pretty sure most of the mass shootings that's happened in the U.S. is done by a white person, not a Muslim. So it's completely independent of the religion. Of course, it's just people want to make it a religious debate, which is stupid. They just focus on people with mental conditions. You know, that's the problem, is that so many Americans kill people when they have these mental conditions, and unlike other countries, they actually kill other people before they kill themselves. You know, which is unfortunate, and they have the means to do so because they have widely available access to guns and firearms, and that's what I want to talk about today. It's not just because the Orlando shooting, but just a day before that Orlando shooting, the nightclub, YouTube singer Christina Grimmie was also killed by someone who had a gun, who was probably mentally unstable as well. And that's just unfortunate that America, you know, this is one of my biggest problems in America, is that it's not a safe country because people have such wide access to guns. And I've been traveling to, you know, China, to Eastern Europe, to Cuba, to a lot of places, and I think America is by far the most dangerous country I've been to because of this. It's just scary to know that anyone can have a gun, and because you don't know who has a mental health condition, you don't know who's crazy or not, a random person can just shoot you, you know? And it can be anywhere. It can be in a school, it can be in a movie theater, it can be out on the street. It's just like people don't care, you know? It can just happen at any time, and that's just what's really scary about living in America. I want to go through debating these arguments because I know there are a lot of people that support guns. There are a lot of people that you know, support the NRA, and the strong proponents for keeping the Second Amendment, for keeping guns. And I want to go through their arguments one by one because I think they're easily refutable, and doesn't make any sense to me. Their logic doesn't make any sense to me. But I want to go through them one by one. The top 5 arguments that people make for keeping guns in the United States. Number 1, they say guns don't kill people, people kill people, right? That's their argument. Oh, guns don't kill people, guns don't do anything, they're just objects, and then people use them to kill people. So it's the people that's a problem, right? I get that. But how about this? People with guns kill more people than people without guns. And I don't think there's any way you can refute that, right? Like, people with guns, their guns are long distance weapons, long range weapons. All they require is a trigger, and you just press the trigger, you shoot it, and you kill someone. It's so easy. You can kill more people, you know, than with any other weapon, you know, barring the really dangerous explosives and stuff, but those aren't widely available to citizens. And people try to compare it with other related deaths. Like, they try to say, okay, well, people can use any weapon to kill someone, you know, like, and then they compare it to drinking beer. Some people compared it to like drinking beer because like alcohol kills a lot of people, or they compare it to car accidents, okay, because people with people driving cars can kill people and stuff. But the problem is that you can't make that comparison because guns only serve one function, and that is to kill people. That's the only function it serves, right? Driving a car, that's transportation, and you know, we need that for transportation. And alcohol, that's just for social, you know, and alcohol, you can't really make alcohol kill someone else, you know. That's dumb. So making those comparisons are really stupid because guns, their only function that they serve is to kill people. You know, every other kind of death is related to something that serves a different primary purpose. Okay, so the second argument that people make is that, oh, criminals don't follow the law, so banning guns won't do anything until they find ways, because they'll find other ways to get a weapon, they'll find other ways to get guns, and banning guns from ordinary citizens will just make it harder for the ordinary citizens to defend themselves against these criminals, right, quote unquote. First of all, the reason why I did that is because a lot of these mass murderers that were committed by people were not criminals. Like, that's what people don't understand. Like, a lot of these mass murders that happen, like I can say, just look it up. Columbine, Virginia Tech, Sandy Hook, Orlando, Fort Hood, Aurora, all these shootings and stuff that happened were perpetrated by normal U.S. citizens without a previous criminal record. This was the first time they committed a crime, which means that there is no way to know that they're a criminal until the time that they do it, right? So it's not like the U.S. Well, like, actually, like, these criminals have guns. They don't, right? They're just normal U.S. citizens who had weapons, who have widely available access to weapons, and then they have mental health conditions. So one day they just snapped and decided to shoot up people. That is the real problem here, right? There's no way to really check for mental health conditions because some people can just seem ordinary one day, and that's what a lot of these eyewitnesses say, right? Oh, this guy was just an ordinary person to me. I have no idea he would just snap and kill 20 people, right? There's no way to really check for that. The most plausible way to stop this from happening is to ban guns everywhere. Like, ban guns in every state, and just ban guns altogether. And you know, the reason this works is because you can look at every other developed country. You can look at Japan or Korea, for example, and they have less than they have less than like 10-20 murders a year, and we have guns banned here, right? We didn't need guns to protect ourselves from like some mass murderer with a weapon, because there aren't many mass murderers with a weapon, because there aren't widely available access to guns, right? That's the thing. Like, if you ban guns everywhere, it's harder for ordinary citizens to get guns, which is the point that people say, right? If you ban guns, it's harder for ordinary citizens to get guns. And because these mass murderers were perpetrated by ordinary citizens, then it just makes sense that there aren't as many mass murders, right? I mean, they can get their hands on another weapon. For sure, you can get hands on another weapon, but how lethal is a knife compared to a gun, right? How many people can you kill per second with a knife compared to a gun? Like, a knife is just much slower. You have to be physically close to the person, and there's no way that your hand is faster than a bullet. Okay, like, a person with an automatic rifle is gonna kill like 10-12 people at a time, right? They're gonna mow down like 10-12 people at a time. With a knife, it's probably just gonna be like a few people, you know, at most. And then it's easily preventable, you know. And plus, knife injuries are not as bad as gun injuries are, because a bullet penetrates, right? Stabbings don't necessarily penetrate unless it's something that's vital, right? So yeah, all in all, it's just, there's no reason to have guns. You know, they can get your hands on other weapons, but it's not as lethal as guns are. It's not as deadly. So yeah, that's just facts. Okay, number 3 is that people say, oh, we need guns for hunting and self-defense. I don't think you do. Like, for 2016, there's no need to really do hunting. There's no need to hunt your own meat. And if you look at other developed countries, do they need to hunt their own meat? Have I seen somewhere in Korea or Japan take out a rifle and start shooting deer or something? No. This is only in America. This is the American culture that that for some reason they need to hunt. They need to kill things. Like, this is in the 19th century. There's no reason to do that. We have supermarkets and delis, and there's widely available fresh meat. Why do you need a gun to hunt things? I don't understand that. And as for self-defense, you can have like a knife or a taser, and it'll be just as sufficient. If someone invades your home, why do you need a knife to protect yourself? Isn't that a little bit overkill? And like, more to the point, why are people allowed to carry assault rifles? Like, the people who commit these murders use like assault rifles, right? And there's absolutely no reason for that. Like, there's no reason for an ordinary citizen to have an assault rifle. I don't care what your like excuse is, it's not right. There's no reason for it. Like, I don't know, you can even make like an argument for you to have a pistol or something, but an assault rifle, there's no reason for that. And like there isn't an entire criminal gang after you. Like, why do you need to have that? Plus, keeping a gun in your home for self-defense is just dangerous. There's many stories of children and toddlers like accidentally killing themselves or someone else with a loaded gun that was left on a table or somewhere. Right, probably wouldn't happen with a knife or a taser or some other weapon. So there's much easier ways for self-defense, and again, in other developed countries, we have better ways to protect ourselves, more less dangerous ways to protect ourselves, and it's worked for them. And I know that people always bring up this case of, oh, Paris and Brussels, they had attacks, and if the people had weapons, this is the case. This is what they think, that good guys with guns, if there was a good guy with a gun, then they would kill the bad guy with a gun before the bad guy with the gun would kill the good guys. And that doesn't make any sense to me either. Like, in all these cases, like Paris and Brussels were done by ISIS. Okay, those were not done by, like, it's not comparable to the US where ordinary citizens had access to guns and then started killing people, right? No, that's actually done by a criminal organization. And not only that, but the military or the police, or the government is actually better equipped to deal with those people than we are. We aren't properly trained, If ordinary citizens had access to guns, we aren't properly trained. We don't know the proper gun procedures, the proper safety procedures, and you can't have them everywhere. Like, are people going to bring guns into a movie theater in case someone like that shooting in Aurora? Like, there's someone that might be in the movie theater, so let's just bring guns into movie theaters. Let's bring guns into class because that's what happened at Sandy Hook, right? Let's bring guns around children. Let's arm teachers with guns. Let's arm people in the nightclub with guns for a drunk and stuff. Like, it doesn't make any sense. If you arm everyone with guns, there's gonna be more casualties because the ordinary citizen does not know how to use a gun well. And my point is, the criminal, whoever, or the mass murderer, before he became a criminal, they can take out their gun first before any ordinary citizen has any chance to react, right? Like, there's no chance, because if they have like an assault rifle, like in these cases, are you like, if a person comes with an assault rifle, what chance are you going to have to react, to pull out your own gun in the theater, start shooting at the person, and be accurately aim it so that you can kill that person before that person kills you or anyone else? There's just no way. Point is, I think having more guns is not the solution. It's just gonna cause more. Just gonna add more fuel to the fire. Yeah. So another argument, I guess that was another argument that people make. So the fifth argument is the Second Amendment is part of our Constitution, protects us from the government. Well, first of all, it's an amendment. And the thing is that the Second Amendment wasn't originally part of the Constitution. It was the Second Amendment. So it's an amendment to the Constitution, which means it can be amended again. It's not really part of the Constitution. Second of all, it was made in the 18th century, which means that back then, the right to bear arms in the 18th century was different, because if you actually had weapons to protect yourself from the government in the 18th century, that could probably work, because the government wasn't very sophisticated back then. So an ordinary uprising, like in the American Revolution, an ordinary uprising could work because the military at that time was not that sophisticated. But in 2016, the US military is the most powerful in the world, and they have access to stuff like choppers, tanks, bazookas, stealth jets, ICBMs. Like, I don't think you can make any case that you would stand any chance against the government today at all. The average citizen does not stand a chance, okay? No matter how many firearms you have, you're not going to defeat the US government. Like, not in 2016. Maybe if this was 1796, but this is not 1796. This is 2016. There's no chance you can stand up against the government with just a freaking any firearm you can buy off the shelf, right? When the US has far superior technology. Okay. And the last point I'm going to go over is that people think that gun control doesn't stop the amount of murders, and they cite examples of, oh, Chicago has a lot of murders, but they have strict gun control. Honduras has strict gun control, they have a lot of murders. Switzerland doesn't have a lot of murders, but everyone has a gun, etc. The problem is that every state has different gun laws, so people can easily go to another state to obtain a weapon and bring them back to states with strict gun laws and shoot people. And I know that people make this argument as a way to prove that criminals will always break laws, and that they can always shoot people and people can't defend themselves. But the problem is that the easy availability for guns allows them to get the weapons to kill people with. You know, as I said, this is a previous point. I said, like, with a knife or another weapon, they wouldn't be able to mow down 10 or 20 people at a time, right? If they have an assault rifle, that's very easy for them to do. And it's very easy for them to get an assault rifle. Where? From a state with loose gun laws. Maybe if they can't commit that, if maybe not in Chicago, but maybe they can go somewhere else, another city or another state, to get an assault rifle, then go to Chicago and shoot them down. Or the weapon can be you know, imported into the city, you know, very easily through these trade networks, you know, these underground gun networks. Where however they get the guns into the state is very easy, because they can always take it from somewhere. You know, the only solution is to ban them everywhere in every state. And for the Honduras example, so I looked this up. Honduras does not have strict gun laws. Everyone can actually have firearms. So those people are wrong. And also the law isn't enforced that well. So people don't really, let's just say that the police and stuff, they aren't really like handling this very well. So that's a very bad example. So I think if you have this law, you do really have to enforce it. You know, you have to go through the background check, or you have to make it very hard for the people to obtain the gun, or you have to just straight up say, you know, you can't have a gun. You know, because only the government should have a gun, the military or the police. That makes sense to me. As for Switzerland, everyone who has a gun in Switzerland trained in the military, as they have to do that, and they're required to pass a background check, which means that people are more responsible for owning guns there, which means they know how to use it. And that's probably why the murder rate in Switzerland is so low. But it's something else to do with the culture as well. I think it's because Americans are just generally more crazy than other people, and there's something wrong with the culture as well that allows them to be crazy like this. And if you still don't get it, try checking out this statistic. I'm just going to leave you guys with this statistic. Okay, the US is 5% of the world's population, but 31% of the mass murders in the world. And Americans own more guns than the next 26 countries with the most guns combined. And I'm just going to leave you with that thought. Just think about it. How many weapons are in America? About 300 million firearms are in America. And that's more than the next 26 countries in the world with the most guns combined. So, so the US just happens to have 1/3 of the world's mass murders. Yeah. And people think that's not related to guns? Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there wouldn't be that many mass murders if they were just had other weapons. So just like everyone else. So yeah, that's my thoughts about guns, gun control, the recent shootings that happened, and this will just keep going on. I think the problem is that you can't take guns away from citizens here because there's too many of them. There's just no way to ban them. And I know I'm just staking my argument, but there's no way to actually ban the guns because there's too many firearms at this point. And I know that Americans are just too stubborn to let go of their weapons, and there's just not going to change. Nothing's going to change. This shooting's not going to change anything. Virginia Tech didn't change anything. Columbine didn't change anything. Sandy Hook and Orlando's not going to change anything. It's just going to keep happening and happening and happening, and it's not really anything you can do about it because that's just how Americans are. But anyways, I just want to make my case against the people who like guns and want to keep them, and that's just my opinion. So that's it. Leave your comments and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.